if you've observed how I trade over time, you would understand that the way I trade is this. I look for a sweep below an old low at certain times of the day. Sweep below an old low, I call this previous low. This I call this. So sweep below this low. Then I look for price to trade above this point. Then come back into here. I look to take an entry here and put my stop loss somewhere around here. I usually manage my risk for 1%. At 1%, then I calculate what is the opposite end of 1% in this trade, 72.4. Let me see where 72.4 lies. And 72.4. I want to see how well whether it hits my. Okay, so you see somewhere here. So you see, this is sweep below old low. Let me mark it with another. So it's not confusing. This is sweep below old. This is a previous low. Sweep below it, comes up above it, trades back into it. I take my trade here, put my stop loss here. You see when there was a drawdown. Drawdown is when you're negative, and it still finally hits me my target. So I look for these charts and when they happen. But one of the things I do is to do it in line with the trend. I don't do it outside of the trend. For example, if this trend was bearish and this was the opening price of the day, what I am looking for, I want to trade above the opening price for a bearish sweep. So for example, I see these as old lows, so you have to train your eyes if you want to adopt my model. But if you feel like it is too complex, this is what I do. I do this, and I learned it from my cohort student. I told you about the guy called ICT. That's one of the few things I learned from him that has been very valuable for my trading. So this now extends to lows, to highs, sorry. All these are equal highs. Forget about the fact that they are poking through this line. So I find a common line. If you've done mathematics very well, you find out that the scatter plot is typically, what we're doing here is typically the scatter plot. So you see there is the price pokes above it, then all of a sudden it shoots above it, comes down below it here, trades below it. So what it does is that it has displaced this price. I might not be able to teach you this fully, but I'll recommend these videos to you so that you go there, take your time. It might take you, it talks a lot, so it might take you up to 6 months to finish the video, but when you finish it, you will become sounder with technical analysis. But I want to, when I lay the foundation for you, then you can go and start watching these videos. If you don't have this foundation, you can't understand these videos. That was a challenge I had for years. I was battling because I couldn't understand what you were saying. So you can see this is a displacement here, because this candle, major candlestick and a lot of volume, broke through this initial high here, displaced even this low that is at this point. Then I want to see trade into this point again. Then I take my position here, entry, stop loss above here for 1:1. So that is how I trade, and I do it for specific times of the day. So 1:1, I believe, is a win rate for me, and of course you see how it came in here. Then another thing is, I remember I said I do it in line with the trend. For example, this was a low, this place swept below it, traded above it. You must trade above it. This one, if I go below this 5 minutes, 15 minutes, and you see this is a high in the market where this place has traded, came back here, I will take an entry here. An entry will be here at this point. I put my stop loss below here for 1:1, and I will get it. So I do it in line with the trend. Now look at what has happened here. Let us assume I do this particular time of the day. I do it when the market opens. I say this has swept low. I want to see if it could go higher than this. Okay, so for this now, you could see that at this point I want to see it go higher than this high which it has formed in the immediate. So it goes here, comes in, gives me an entry here. I enter here, my stop loss is here, 1:1. So you see it broke through this short-term high, came in here, entered into this place again. Some people call it a liquidity void. Yeah, so you will hear a lot of strange things here. That's why I said let me introduce you to this first before you take it. So that's how I take my trades. So I want to show you another example. I'm not cherry picking them, I just want to show you how it works for me. So for example, this thing I'm showing you has a 65% chance of working. So That is why I stuck to it. These are previous lows. This trades above it, goes here, trades above this short-term high, above this high, creates its own high, comes back into this place. I'll take another buy here, or take at this point my stop loss will be here, and I'll do a 1:1 from here, and of course 1:1 should be somewhere around there. But let me say I'm targeting these old highs. That, like I said, what we're doing is scatter plot, so forget about the fact that they are not equal, but we call them equal highs. They're relatively equal, so some percent are good, and of course it's a loss trade. But if you follow my 1:1, you will be correct. So let's see how it goes in another place, whether I will identify. Okay, I identified it here, the typical time of the day that I want, London session. It is at this point that I would go up here, come in here, take here as a trade, then 1:1. And of course I got 1:1 here. So I look for a specific time. This is another time where I might feel like, are you sure this has not happened? I want to see a sweep below, but I want to see a swift reaction above this, just like what we saw yesterday. What we saw yesterday was typically, that was why I had the confidence to say, please get into this trade as at yesterday. You know, I had the confidence. I said, look at it. It has swept below here. It has swept below these lows, came up here, and I said, take this. I took this trade here, and we exited here. My stop loss was below here for the massive profit. So that's how I trade. Okay, we still have about 3 minutes. So it is my style. I learned, like I said, I learned it from ICT. I don't claim to have been the originator or the founder myself. So I want to say, now I've seen the displacement, sharp displacement here. I will enter here, put my stop loss below. I will enter here, put my stop loss below, like of course at my entry here. Then 1:1. What does 1:1 look like in this market here? 40 points. Where is 40 points? So 40 points is at the high of this market. Let me see if I could make profit is 40 points somewhere around here. Fine. In the next candle I'm already profitable. I've won the trade. So let me also show you another example before we call it a day here. So I'm showing you, this is the only chart pattern I can tell you, because I learned it from a man called Bulkowski. Bulkowski is he wrote about candlestick pattern. You can find him, Bulkowski. That's his name, Bulkowski. So this, I see this as a sweep below this low. I want to see it trade above this medium term high. It trades above it, it doesn't, so the trade is invalid. One more. Let me see if I can find anyone again. This trades below this at a specific time of the day, 8 o'clock in the morning. Came here, entered here. So I could say, let me enter here, put my stop loss below here, then aim for 1:1, which could be somewhere around here, or this maximum. I don't know if it will get there. We got there the next day, and so that is how it works. So I believe we've gotten, this is a chart pattern I wanted to teach. That's the only chart pattern. I'm not going to teach all those butterfly and nonsense they teach. It's the only chart pattern I'm going to teach you, and I believe it is enough for you to learn. Go and practice it. Do testing of it over 1,000 times, where you can find it in the market. For example, I come here, I can see it here again. This is what is it called? A sweep below this low, and I look at it. It has come here. This one now invalidates it. I don't want this place to be violated. If you violate, then it's not. So this one now, typically, this is what I want to do. Then there's a sharp displacement. I want to enter my trade somewhere around here. Put my stop loss below here for 1:1. Let me see if I get it. So I said it repeatedly happens about, yeah, you see, I got the trade. So it happens about, it has a 75% win rate, and I expect you to do that, because if you really call me someone who you've chosen to be your mentor in this game, you must do how I say it, so that I can be able to correct you if you're not getting it right. So that is how it works. So I believe I've shown you examples of this. Go and back test it, and if you have questions, you can ask me. So I believe you can record your questions for the week, so that when we have our AMAs, we can take them through and go through them. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your time. God bless you.